parents called me loser and didn't invite me to the Christmas. I said okay. When my gold sister asked me to pay for her studies, I shocked everyone with statement. I'm 32 years old, single, and if you ask my parents, a failure. Not because I've done anything particularly wrong, but because I haven't checked off the boxes they think are important. No wife, no kids, no real family of my own. Meanwhile, my younger sister, Amanda, can do no wrong. She's 26, bubbly, married, and in their eyes, the pinnacle of success. This year, they didn't even bother inviting me over for Christmas. My mother called a week before, not to wish me a happy holiday or to see how I was doing, but to give her reasons. Apparently, Amanda had let it slip that I said Christmas at their house was a waste of time because it's all about her. I never said that. Still, my parents didn't bother to check anything. They just went along with it. Mom told me, "We don't want negativity to ruin the day. Maybe it's best if you sit this one out." I don't know what stung more, her words or the fact that I wasn't even surprised. "Fine," I said. I wasn't going to grovel for an invitation. The next day, Amanda called me. I thought maybe she was calling to smooth things over or admit she'd lied. But no. She wanted money. "Listen," she said. "I need some help with tuition for my graduate program. Mom and Dad can't really afford much right now, and we all know you're doing well, so..." I couldn't believe the nerve. They had just banned me from Christmas, but now they had no problem with me being the family ATM? I didn't answer right away. Instead, I decided to handle this in a way that none of them would forget. I didn't give Amanda an answer right away. I told her I'd think about it, which seemed to satisfy her. She chirped a quick "thanks" before hanging up, probably already patting herself on the back for her manipulative skills. But I wasn't thinking about helping her. I was thinking about all the years this had been going on. Amanda had always been the golden child. Growing up, she got the praise, the attention, the best of everything. My parents never even tried to hide it. They were proud of her accomplishments, which usually boiled down to being charming and knowing how to wrap people around her finger. Meanwhile, I was the responsible one, the boring one who worked hard, got good grades, and stayed out of trouble. But responsibility didn't get you celebrated in our house. It got you used. When Amanda wanted a car in high school, my parents asked me to contribute from my savings from my part-time job. When she wanted to go to a fancy out-of-state college, they didn't hesitate to suggest that I delay my plans for graduate school to help them cover her expenses. And somehow, Amanda always managed to spin the narrative so that she was the victim who deserved everyone's help. The most frustrating part? She'd convinced my parents that I was selfish. Every time I tried to set boundaries or say no, it turned into a lecture about how families should support each other. Translation: I was supposed to support Amanda, no questions asked. And here she was, asking for thousands of dollars for her graduate school program while I wasn't even welcome at Christmas. I wasn't angry in that fiery, lose-your-temper kind of way. I was calm, detached. And that's when I knew I'd had enough. This wasn't just about money or Christmas. It was about years of being taken advantage of, dismissed, and treated as if my value depended solely on what I could do for her. So I called my mother back. "Hey," I said, "can we have a family meeting? Me, you, Dad, Amanda, her husband. I think we need to clear the air." She hesitated, but finally agreed. Probably because she thought I'd come to grovel and apologize. I didn't correct her. Let her think what she wanted. I would speak my piece, and for once, they would listen. The family reunion was scheduled for the following Saturday at my parents' house. I didn't bother dressing up. Jeans, a hoodie, and an old pair of sneakers. It wasn't about making an impression. It was about finally saying what needed to be said. When I arrived, Amanda and her husband Greg were already there. Greg gave me one of those half smiles he always had, like he didn't really want to be involved in the drama, but couldn't quite avoid it. Amanda wasn't even trying to fake pleasantries. She scrolled through her phone, looking as disinterested as ever. Mom came hurrying out of the kitchen with a tray of coffee and cookies, doing her best to play the gracious host even though this was far from a social visit. Dad was planted in his recliner, watching me as if I were a stranger who'd dropped in uninvited. "So," Mom said after everyone was settled, "what did you want to talk about, honey?" Her tone was overly sweet, as if she thought a little sugarcoating would cover the fact that she'd kicked me out of the family reunion 2 weeks earlier. I didn't waste any time. "I want to talk about Christmas," I said, keeping my voice steady. "And the fact that I wasn't invited because Amanda told you something that wasn't true." Amanda jumped in immediately, her voice dripping with fake innocence. "I didn't lie. That's what you said? Or maybe you didn't mean it, but it sounded that way." I raised an eyebrow. "Really? Because I don't remember ever saying that Christmas was a waste of time. In fact, I don't remember talking about it at all. But somehow you managed to convince Mom and Dad otherwise." She shrugged and leaned back in her chair. "I was just being honest." I nodded slowly, biting back the anger rising in my chest. "Right. Just like you were being honest when you called me the day after to ask for money for your graduate program?" The room fell silent. Amanda's face froze, and for the first time, Greg looked genuinely uncomfortable. Mom jumped in, her voice desperate. "Wait a minute, this isn't about money, Dash. It's always about money." I cut her off. "That's why I'm here. Because I'm tired of being treated like the family ATM. You didn't invite me to Christmas, but you had no problem expecting me to finance Amanda's life again. Do you have any idea how fucked up that is?" Dad finally spoke, his voice gruff. "Watch your tone, son. We're a family. Families help each other." I laughed, really laughed. "Help each other? Is that what this is? Because from where I'm standing, it looks a lot like you all expect me to give and give while Amanda takes and takes. Tell me, when's the last time anyone here actually helped me?" No one answered. "Exactly," I said. "And that's why I'm done." After I finished, there was a long, awkward silence. Amanda was staring at her phone again, probably trying to pretend she wasn't the center of the conversation. Greg shifted uncomfortably in his seat, clearly wishing he'd stayed home. Mom looked like she was going to cry, and Dad just shook his head, his face red with frustration. It was Dad who finally broke the silence. "You've got some nerve," he said. "Talking to us like this after all we've done for you. We gave you life, put a roof over your head, fed you, clothed you, and this is how you repay us?" I couldn't help it. I laughed. Not a chuckle, but a full, genuine laugh, the kind that makes people more uncomfortable than screaming ever could. "You gave me life? So what, I'm supposed to be eternally grateful that you decided to have a child? That's your big point? That I owe you for existing?" I shook my head, still laughing. "You're not serious." Mom jumped in, her voice wavering. "We've sacrificed so much for you. We worked hard to give you a good life, and now you act like we're the bad guys?" "Sacrificed?" I said, raising an eyebrow. "Sacrificed what?" All I ever heard growing up was how much harder things were because of me. How I was the trial run that made things easier for Amanda. "You didn't sacrifice for me, you invested in me because you thought I'd pay you back."